Today's topic of discussion is single and childless. So here in the UK, right, we're experiencing a high amount of women who do not want to get into any type of relationships. They are delaying marriage and so on. So we're going to be discussing some key points in terms of why women don't want to have relationships anymore. So first point is feminism. So feminism has been pushing for equal rights for men and women, but it's taken it to a whole new level where women have been programmed by the system, by the propaganda and BS that a woman can do the same job roles as a man. So a woman can do exactly the same thing that a man can do, and then a man can do the same thing as a woman can do. You understand? This is complete nonsense and it doesn't work. Women feel as though that they can just delay marriage, they can just delay having kids, and then they can just focus purely on career and job prospect, education, and so on. And then they leave relationships till later on. So this ideology, this mindset, where does it stem from? It stems from early ages, so from the school system. The school system has been programming kids from a young age. So let's say in the class, right, all the boys and girls, they're asked, what would you like to be when you're older and when you grow up? So then, like, boys, they may turn around and say, I'd like to be, let's say, a police officer, a doctor, an engineer, all these different job titles. And then when they ask the girls may say, I'd like to be an accountant, a flipping lawyer, barrister, you name it. And these girls here, they're not actually mentioning that, I'd like to be, let's say, a housewife. So if a girl was to mention that, so there's been stories of that where girls have mentioned that, they are ridiculed. And they're seen as, this girl here is a slave to her husband. That's complete BS programming by Western ideologies. From the previous generations, all women from a young age were taught duties related to being a mum. So even if they were a child, right, they were taught from a young age to be able to take care of the household. The problem is now women are starting to prioritize money, finances and career, and they've been taught to chase after these things. You can do the same things that a man can do. You don't need a man for anything. Whatever you want to do in life, you can go out there and go get it. So then you hear certain times women say, men are trash, we don't need men for anything. So if you look at outside around you, the roads, buildings, the sewage system, the water system, tap water, you name it, the electricity, the lights that have been built in the house, who's that been built by? Because it ain't women. So this is what it is. People need to take a step back and look at the facts of the situation and how the world actually works. Breeding this whole single culture that we have here in UK, no wonder we have relationships breaking down. They're being taught, both men and women are being taught to go chase after money, finances, delay marriage, delay kids, delay having a family and so on. And just indulge in your own desires. So that's why it's really important. Any guys who are watching this, if you're coming across any sisters and you're speaking to them for marriage purposes, you need to ask her questions related to her mindset. Because I bet you any money, 9 times out of 10, these girls have been programmed with modern day feminism. Indoctrinated. And it's vice versa for guys as well. Guys have been programmed with the same BS as well. They've been taught, right, that you don't need a woman for anything. Don't bother trying to give commitment to a woman. Don't get into marriage. Go out there and just fornicate, chase after money, status, materialistic possessions, and so on. None of those things ever give true satisfaction and fulfillment. That's what's happening right now with a bunch of women. A bunch of women are getting to like the 40s and 50s, flipping no kids, no family, got a flipping cat and a dog, and that's it. And then they're just all argumentative. So that's what it is. People need to take a step back and actually look at what type of programming have I been programmed with from a young age. Because they've been putting all this BS into people's brains for a long time now. People need to actually start waking up to the reality of it. That the school system isn't there to benefit you. It's to keep you as a slave. The main beneficiaries, the main people who benefit from the system is a set of people who control all the major moves in society to keep people chasing after the corporate ladder. So climb the corporate ladder, chase after, your next promotion, put in over hours, put in extended hours, keep climbing that. It's never ending. And then when you push women into that, guess what happens? Doubles the taxpayers' money. 2 people now are paying taxes in society. So then let's say they both have a relationship, man and woman has a relationship. They're both working now full time. They have kids. Throw the kids into daycare centers. Daycare centers are now raising the kids. The system's raising the kids. Government's raising the kids. These people, they ain't got no shame. How can you throw... I've heard stories, right? One guy I was working with, he's throwing his kid, 6-month-old baby into a daycare center. These people ain't got no shame. How can you trust anyone with your 6-month-old baby? This is what it is. It's just really sickening behavior. For a woman to be able to be comfortable with another stranger raising their child. So that stranger sees the child more than the actual mum. So that's what it is. So you guys here, let me rephrase that shit. Any of you guys who are actually speaking to any women for marriage purposes, make sure to start asking her questions related to the whole feminism type BS. Because women are quick to cover that up. So don't just hit her with, do you believe in feminism? A lot of times they may say no. Do you understand? Because obviously it contradicts the deen, isn't it? But you need to ask her questions related to her mindset on, career prospects. Is she somebody who, if she was to have a child, is she somebody who wants to prioritize looking after the children? Or is she somebody who just wants to work full time and she'd rather just put her child in daycare centers and take the grandparents, getting the grandparents to look after them, looking after the kids? You'll find that there's quite a lot of women like that in today's time. So next point is 18 to 24. So here in the UK, right, you got girls who are, let's say, 18 years old, start full-time education. So they'll start, let's say, university. So let's say they start at 18 years old. On average, a course is about 3 years. So you got 18 to 21. So that's 3 years gone right there. So girls are thinking, I don't need to get married. I'll finish my education. So let's say they spend 3 years there, but then they may even take a gap year. So they start at, let's say, 19. So you can change that to 22? 22 then. And then girl is 22 now. On average, takes about 1 to 2 years to get a job related to her field of work on average. Yeah, so you can get a job fairly quickly, but if you want to get something which is in line with your specific field, it's going to take quite a bit of time. So 22 to 24. So you've hit that age there, 24 years old now. And by the time you're 24 now, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm open to relationships now and open to marriage. And guess what? On average, it will take about 2 to 5 years to find somebody who you're compatible with and potentially get married to. So you're looking at 24 to 29. Do you see where I'm going with this? That's what's being pushed into women's heads. That age there, to look to get married, 24 to 29 years old. Once you finished all your education, once you finished, your whole school system, you've gotten a job, then you start looking for marriage. And guess what? It takes minimum 2 to 5 years to find somebody who you're compatible with. Never mind getting married to. You understand? So by 2030, 50% of all women in the UK will be single and childless. 50%. So 1 in 2 women that you're seeing right now in the school system, in universities, half of them are going to be single and they ain't going to have no children. From 24 to flipping 45. That's why we're experiencing depopulation in these Western countries. Because women are just delaying marriage, delaying kids. And what does that open the doors up to? Haram relationships. Because if you're trying to be celibate between those ages, 24 to 29, to get to that 24 and 29, so what, you ain't had no haram relationships? You ain't spoken to no guys? Come on. Yeah, this is why people need to actually come to the realization that you're opening the doors to fitna, to haram activity. Yeah, these girls here, pretty much all of them have had boyfriends by the time they hit the age of 24 to 29. If they ain't gotten married, they very likely would have had a haram relationship. Because it becomes difficult, isn't it? To stay chaste, to stay celibate in today's today's day and age. That's why you see unwanted pregnancies. That's why you're seeing women having abortions, women using contraception, and so on. And then when they have all that emotional baggage, they bring that into their marriage. And that's why a lot of these guys right now, they don't want to get married. They don't want to commit to a woman. Because as soon as they see a woman's had a haram relationship, it's just like, nah, leave that alone. So that's all like guys who've got standards. Guys who ain't got no standards, they're like, oh yeah, they'll just be desperate and needy. They'll take anything. Now men of value, they've got set standards, they've got set principles, and they know how to filter out low quality girls. They ain't trying to have no haram relationships with low quality girls. That's why you see women complaining right now in today's society, oh, where's the high value men? Where's the men who will treat us well? They ain't committing to you lot. They're either moving abroad, getting married to somebody from back home, or they're choosing to stay single. So this is a cold-hearted reality that women need to start facing now. But obviously they're going to run away from this. So next point is family. The family, mum and dad, have been programming the children with do not get married, focus on education, focus on getting a job, focus on chasing after goals and objectives, experiences, holidays, cars, you name it. But when it comes to marriage, that requires commitment. That's why certain women, they just want to get married because of a wedding. They just want to have a wedding. They want to experience, all the flashy stuff. But when it comes to actual marriage, they don't want actual marriage, because that comes with commitment. That comes with sacrifice. That comes with responsibility. Now, obviously this video here, it may seem like I'm having a dig at women. I'm not. I'm not trying to bash women or anything like that. I'm literally just stating the facts of what's happening in today's time. In today's time, women are being programmed with all this BS. So any girl, let's say, who is 18 years old, she's been taught to do not get married. Do not commit to a man. Go out there, enjoy your life. Gain all these experiences. Get your education. Get your money first. And then later on, he'll take you on. And then when they get to this age, 29 years old, they're like, time's gone by so quickly. I've been playing all these games, all these stupid childish games with all these guys. And these guys here, they've had enough. They don't want to commit to me. And then they've wasted all their best years, which is 18 to 24. That's the best years of a woman, to try and find a man of value. And try and lock him down in a relationship. Lock him down in a marriage. Because that's the time when you have leverage. His leverage is on your side. As soon as you get past this age here, when you start to get to, like, let's say 24, 25, 26, then you're competing against girls who are like 18, 19, 20. So that's what's happening right now. You see a bunch of old women, old budiyan, complaining. They're like, oh yeah, where's the good men? Now there's no good men anymore. It's just you wasted all your best years. You're playing stupid games when you was 18, 19, 20. Trying to play hard to get. Trying to get guys to chase after you. Wasted all your years. And then when you got to 29, 30 years old, there's no guys left there who want you. They see you as a drama case. They see you as you're too stuck in your ways. Because that's what happens with people. As they get older, you get more cemented in your ways. You don't want to change your ways. You get more hardened. This happens for both guys and girls. So, final point is streets. That's what happens. Streets. These girls here, they get designated towards the streets. Designated towards haram relationships. So any girls who are in haram relationships, or any girls who are just delaying marriage and just wasting guys' times, guess what? They're going to be put in the category of street only. That's why it's so important right now in today's time. Any guys and girls who are watching this, now's the time to start leveling yourself up and start prioritizing, looking to develop yourself in all areas of life. So with girls, right, girls who are, if any girls are watching this, if you're in the bracket of 18 to 24, start using those years and start optimizing those years, because those years ain't going to come around once the time has passed. It's going to become more and more difficult. But we're living in a society right now where the women who are older, women who are in this bracket here, 24 to 29, they're influencing the younger girls. Don't get married, chase after money, get experiences. You don't need to get married, you're too young. All this BS, all this programming. That's what it's doing right now. It's breeding other single women. So single women keep other women single. So any girls who are looking to find men of value, any girls who are trying to get the best possible man that she can attain, she needs to remove all girls who are single. Because 9 times out of 10, those girls who are single, they're choosing to stay single. And they're going to keep that girl like that as well. They don't want that girl to find a man. Because as soon as that girl gets married, then guess what? They're not going to spend as much time together anymore. So vice versa as well with guys. But guys who are bum losers in life, you have to cut them off. Because they're not going to help you progress, help you elevate in life. They don't want you to elevate. They want you to flip and smoke and drink with them. You know, that's what it is with vice versa when it comes to women. Women who are single and childless, they ain't got no marriage, they ain't got no good man, they ain't got no husband. They're going to keep other women like that as well. They want women to stay like that. You know, because misery loves company. So just to wrap up, feminism has programmed a bunch of women in today's society. Bunch of men and women. Chase after goals and objectives, career, money, finances, education. Don't worry about marriage. Leave that alone. Waste all your good years. Now, that's what feminism is all about. Feminism ain't about equal rights. Feminism is about literally giving all the power to women. And as a result of that, women end up dissatisfied. Because if the man's not a leader in his own household and he's not in the leadership position, all women will despise that guy. You know, all these boss babe type girls, they're saying, oh yeah, I can be independent, I can do my own thing, I don't need a man, this and that. Their innate fitra, innate disposition is to get the best possible man for survival. So whether women like to admit it or not, women are survival creatures. They need a guy to provide for them, provide provision for them, provide and protect. Because if they're not getting that, they're going to be dissatisfied. They're going to be the most miserable. That's why these women who are like in their flipping 40s and 50s right now, who ain't got no husband, these women who are earning, some of them are earning like flipping 100k plus. Completely miserable. Got all their blue and red hair and that. Promoting all this liberalism, BS, wokeism. If you ask any of those type of people, are they satisfied in their life? The answer is no. But they want other women to stay like that as well. And the next one after was 18 to 24. 18 to 24 is the best years of a woman's life to get a suitable life partner. As soon as those years are gone, that's it. They're gone. They ain't coming back. You ain't got no leverage to play with. You're literally competing against all the other younger women. So as a woman gets older, 18, 19, 20, 21, she's competing with girls who are 18, 19 and 20. Because guess what? Just as how a woman wants a man who's older, a man who's got more experiences, a guy who's established in life, a man looks for the opposite of that. He wants a woman who's young, fertile, ain't been programmed with BS indoctrination, somebody who's submissive, cooperative, friendly, caring, loving. If you ask these women, what does a man of value want? 9 out of 10 of these women ain't got a clue. They're just focused on themselves. They don't know what a man of value wants. So a man of value wants somebody who is submissive, cooperative, caring, loving, feminine. Somebody who fears God. Somebody who's obedient towards their parents. Now that's what a man of value wants. A man values a woman who prioritizes family and children. Because money, men of value, they've already got money. They don't need more money in their life. And another thing is, they ain't looking for no handouts. So when these boss babe type girls are saying, oh yeah, I'm independent, I got my own money, I can pay my own bills. Well, congratulations. You're an adult. You can take care of yourself. You know, that doesn't make you somebody who is qualified to get a man of value. Well, next point after that was family. Yeah, family right now is programming daughters to chase after education, career, money, status and all this other BS. And don't worry about marriage. Don't worry about trying to find somebody who's a suitable partner. You know, you'll find somebody eventually later on down the line. That time just never happens. Some of these women right now, they don't even want to have kids. They're like, oh yeah, I don't want to have kids until I'm like 30 years old. I've spoken to girls like that before. They're like, oh yeah, I don't want to have kids until like I'm 30. It's like, cutting you off. Big red flag right there. Any girl who's like, oh yeah, delay marriage, delay kids, red flag. Because guess what? They would rather indulge in haram activity then. Because they know marriage comes with commitment, comes with sacrifice, comes with responsibility. It comes with a sense of trying to build your connection with God. Because it completes half your deen. But people don't want to do that. They want to run away from that. And then the final point was streets. That's what happens to these women here. They're left for the streets. Street activity. You know, the older generations, they didn't have a problem with this. In the sense of getting into a relationship. The women of the previous generations, they were able to get men of value. They were able to get into relationships. The reason now women are being thrown onto the streets and left for street activity is because they're not prioritizing working on themselves and using their best years. You know, they've been programmed with too much BS. So that's why you need to take a step back. So any women who are watching this, they need to take a step back and actually realize what programming have you been exposed to. Because I guarantee you've been exposed to feminism and liberation and all this other BS. And then you're going to be left for the streets. So, I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.